Most people think early retirement is only for millionaires, financial geniuses, or people with giant portfolios. But that is not always true. Some people are getting closer to retirement quietly, not because they are chasing some fantasy lifestyle, but because their expenses are controlled, their savings are growing, and their money is starting to give them options. They may still be working, they may not feel rich, they may not have some perfect retirement plan written down, but behind the scenes, the math is starting to work, and you might be further along than you realize. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 signs you can retire earlier than you think. Not because you are escaping life, but because you may already be building more freedom than you give yourself credit for. And if the idea of owning more of your time matters to you, subscribe to the channel. Every video here is designed to help you build wealth, reduce money stress, and create a life where your time belongs to you again. Sign number 1. Your biggest monthly expense is under control. For most people, the biggest thing standing between them and early retirement is not coffee, subscriptions, or small purchases. It is housing. A mortgage or rent payment can take a huge part of your monthly income. And when that payment is high, your retirement number has to be much bigger because your life costs more to maintain. But when housing is under control, the whole equation changes. If your mortgage is paid off, almost paid off, or your rent is low compared to your income, you need less money to live. And needing less can be just as powerful as earning more. That is the part many people miss. Early retirement is not only about building a huge portfolio. It is also about lowering the amount your portfolio needs to support. When your biggest bill is smaller, the amount of income you need every month drops too. That is where options start to appear. Part-time work becomes less scary. A sabbatical feels more possible. Leaving a stressful job does not feel as risky. And retirement does not require the same giant number it would if your biggest bill was still controlling your life. So if your housing costs are manageable, you may be closer than you think. You are not just saving money, you are shortening the distance between where you are now and the freedom to choose what comes next. Sign number 2. You understand the power of your savings rate. Income matters, but your savings rate is what can really change your retirement timeline. Because if you earn more, but spend more every time your income rises, you may not actually move closer to freedom. The extra money just becomes a nicer lifestyle, bigger payments, and more things to maintain. That is why savings rate is so powerful. It shows how much of your income is turning into future freedom instead of disappearing into today's expenses. If you are saving a meaningful percentage of what you earn, you are doing something most people never do. You are using your income to buy back time. Every dollar you do not spend has a job. It can go into investments. It can reduce debt. It can build a cash cushion. It can move you one step closer to the day when work becomes optional. And this is where early retirement starts to speed up. Because a high savings rate does 2 things at once. It grows your assets faster, and it proves you can live on less. That combination can shorten your timeline more than most people realize. So if you already think in terms of savings rate, not just income, that is a major sign. You are not just trying to make more money, you are turning more of your money into freedom. Sign number 3. You have income streams beyond your job. Most people rely on one paycheck, and while that can feel stable, it is also fragile. One job loss, one bad boss, one company restructure, or one health issue can put the entire system under pressure. But if you have income coming from somewhere outside your job, even a small amount, you are building a different kind of freedom. Maybe it is rental income. Maybe it is dividends. Maybe it is freelance work, business income, digital income, or portfolio income. It does not have to replace your salary yet to matter. That is the part most people miss. Even small income streams can reduce pressure. They act like financial shock absorbers. They give you more room to breathe if your main income slows down, changes, or disappears. And over time, if those income streams start covering part of your monthly expenses, the retirement math gets much easier. If extra income covers groceries, utilities, insurance, or even part of your housing, that is less your portfolio has to support later. Because early retirement is not only about saving a big number, it is also about reducing how much your job has to carry. So if you are already building income beyond your paycheck, you may be closer to freedom than you think. You are not just earning money, you are building options. Sign number 4. You know your real retirement number. Most people think retirement is based on age, 65. 67, maybe later. But the truth is, retirement is based more on expenses than age. If you know how much your life actually costs, you can start figuring out how much money needs to support it. That is where everything becomes clearer. Instead of chasing a vague idea like, I need millions, you can look at your annual spending and build a real target around it. A common rough framework is 20 times or 25 times your yearly expenses, depending on your situation, income sources, and comfort level. The exact number does not have to be perfect at first, but having a number changes the conversation. You stop guessing. You stop waiting for some random age to tell you when you are allowed to leave. You start seeing retirement as a math problem that can actually be measured. And that is powerful, because once you know your target, you can track your progress toward it. You can adjust your spending. You can increase your investing. You can see whether early retirement is far away, closer than you thought, or already starting to become realistic. So if you know your real retirement number, you are ahead of most people. You are not just dreaming about freedom, you are starting to measure it. Sign number 5. You have a life you want to retire into. Early retirement is not just about leaving work. It is about having something meaningful to move toward. Because retiring early only matters if you have the health, energy, and purpose to enjoy the time you are buying back. The point is not just to stop working. The point is to actually live the life that work kept delaying. Maybe that means traveling while your body still has the energy for it. Maybe it means spending more time with your family, being present with your kids, helping your parents, or finally having slower mornings that do not start with stress. Maybe it means hobbies, projects, volunteering, creative work, or building something you care about without needing it to become your main income. That matters more than people think. Because some people retire from work, but they do not retire into anything. And when the routine disappears, they feel bored, restless, or unsure of who they are without the job. But if you already have a picture of what comes next, that is a powerful sign. It means early retirement is not just an escape plan, it is a life plan. So if you are healthy, you still have energy, and you have things you are excited to do outside of work, you may be more ready than you think. Because the goal is not just to retire from something. The goal is to retire into something worth waking up for. Early retirement is about options, not escape. It does not always mean you never work again. It means you reach a point where money gives you choices. Maybe you still work part-time. Maybe you take a sabbatical. Maybe you leave a stressful job. Maybe you finally spend your days on the things that actually matter to you. And early retirement does not have to look flashy. You may not need a fantasy lifestyle to retire earlier. You may need a life that costs less than you think, assets that support it, income streams that reduce pressure, and a clear plan for what you want your time to become. That is why these signs matter. Controlled housing costs lower the amount you need. A strong savings rate helps you buy back time faster. Income beyond your job gives you flexibility. Knowing your retirement number turns the dream into math. And having a life you want to retire into makes the whole thing worth it. So take one simple action today. Look at your real monthly expenses and ask, how much of this life would my money actually need to support? That one number can change everything. If this helped, subscribe to the channel for more videos that help you build wealth, reduce money stress, and create a life where your time belongs to you again. And let me know in the comments, which sign made you rethink your retirement timeline? And if you want to keep going, watch the next video on how to save faster and build wealth quietly.